Hey everybody, this is Greg Gossett from Gossett Trading and Mentoring Live, and today is Monday, March 23rd, 2020. We again find ourselves in the first day of the new trading week and in the final hour of the trading day. So anyway, thank you so much for coming. It's always nice to see everybody. I always look forward to seeing you. I think we have such a great group. We have some really smart people, some really great comments. So thank you always for coming by. I really do appreciate it. So, all right. Well, I just talked about the final hour in the trading day. In my opinion, the most valid time to make your buying and selling decisions is right at the end of the day, just as close to the close as you can get. During the day, you have the algorithms, day traders. At the end of the day, you have the large financial institutions coming in. They take control of the prices. They have the most well-informed people. They're dealing with the most money. They have the best technology, and they take control of the prices away from the day traders and the algorithms and move it to what they think is the most valid price based upon where they move it. So that is why I like to make the majority of my buying and selling decisions at the end of the day. So, hey, Evan is here. Good to see you, Evan. Always nice to have you here. Thank you so much for coming. Hi, Marco. How you doing? Hope you're having a good evening in Slovenia. In Europe. So I hope you're having a good evening and thank you for coming. Dan is here. Hey Dan, how you doing? Dan says, hey Greg and everyone. Hello Dan, nice to have you here. Well, okay, so we're having another crazy day. I mean, this is unprecedented what's been going on here with the vote in Congress and the delays with the vote. Who knows if they're going to get it done? I kind of feel like they're going to, but what do I know, right? Dow Jones is down 666 points, down 3.5%. NASDAQ is down 71 points, down 1%, and the S&P is down 75 points, down 3.28%. So the NASDAQ is faring much better percentage-wise than the Dow, that's for sure. But it's been a wild one. The NASDAQ's been up earlier, now it's back down. We had futures last night down 1,000. I've never seen anything like it. So, all right. Hey, Miko25 is here. Good to see you. Looking forward to our lesson tonight. That'll be our first lesson. Always excited about teaching lessons. So looking forward to that at what? 5:30 your time, 6:30 my time, right? So we'll get the podcast out of the way. I will go and do a hike, and then I'll come back and we'll be teaching. So that's good. So, all right. Well, listen, here's the plan for today. First of all, we're going to run the U.S. legal disclaimer. Secondly, going to come back, take a look at my current positions, talk about when I bought them, why I bought them, how I'm going to manage them moving forward. After that, we do have, I think, a couple trades that some of you have on. I know we have a nice short position from Bing He. We'll be taking a look at that. And then after that, we're going to get on to some trader psychology. Boy, trader psychology has never been more important. Having a plan, position sizing correctly, following your plan, not letting losers run. I mean, if there was ever a time for you to internalize this information, it is right now for sure. After that, I have gone through my watch list. There are a few potentials. When I look for an end of day trade, I look for three things, three requirements. First of all, I want to look for a confluence or a combination of indicators lining up. I look at each indicator like MACD and RSI and moving averages. I look at those as potential groups of buyers. If you want to put yourself in the position to have the best chance to have a profitable trade, you want to be in the company with as many other buyers as possible. So therefore, if I look at each indicator as a potential group of buyers, I want to see indicators lining up, or in other words, I want to see groups of buyers lining up. So that's step one. Step two, even though you do have a nice confluence of indicators lining up, you need to make sure you have a good risk to reward. I want to make sure that I have the ability to make at least 2 times compared to what I'm losing, 2 times minimum. 3 or 4 times to the upside would be fantastic. But I want to make sure that if I'm risking $100, I want to be able to make 200, 300, 400 based upon some legitimate support, resistance above me and support below me. And then number 3, which is so important right now, for sure, is your correlation and your total account heat. Meaning, you don't want to have 5 technology stocks all at once. If the market goes up, you're going to do great. If the market goes down, you're just going to get hammered 5 times fold, right? I always want to make sure I have different industries. I have a rule. I never buy more than one particular industry on one day. So if Apple and Microsoft look great, I'm not going to buy both of them. I can only buy one. If next day, if I took Apple on the first day and Microsoft triggered on the second day, yes, I would take that as well because they weren't in the same day. But overall, I'm never going to have more than 2 positions in a technology stock, or I'm never going to have more than 2 positions in a healthcare stock. I just want diversification. And then account heat is extremely important. I never put at risk, I never take positions more than 60% of my total trading capital. And that's at the maximum. That's at the maximum, right? I rarely have 6 positions, directional positions ever. And, in the past, I've always had people say, well, you're not going to make as much. And I'm like, that's true, but I'm not going to lose as much, and that one simple rule has saved me a lot of money in this downtrend, as you can imagine. So anyway, I have marked a few that looked possibly interesting. So as we get closer to the end of the day, I'll take a look at those. We'll break those down. After the market closes, if you have any questions, please let me know. Happy to clarify anything I discussed today. If you have any stock symbols that you'd like to get my take on, I'm happy to do that as well. After the market closes. But if you do have a stock or something that looks interesting that you think would be helpful for the rest of the group, please go ahead, put it in the chat before the market closes, put a star by it, and that way I will know it's time sensitive and I will do my very best to get to it. So that is the plan. So I'm going to run the US legal disclaimer, hang tight, and I'll be back in about 40 seconds. Thank you. This video or live broadcast, like all instructional materials produced by Gossett Trading and Mentoring LLC, is created and published for informational and educational purposes only. Please carefully read and/or listen to the U.S. government required disclaimer before watching this video or live stream broadcast. The video link and disclaimer text are located in the description section of this video or live broadcast, here and here. Thank you so much. Okay, thanks for holding through that with me. Hey, gamers here. Good to see you, David. Appreciate you coming. And Miko25 says, me too. Good. Looking forward to that. Joshua, hey, how you doing, Josh? Happy Monday, Greg, and all. Happy Monday to you. Joe Turner's here. Hey, Joe. Good to see you. Oh, you know what? That reminds me. I did not post the last 2 poems from you and Frank. My apologies. As soon as I saw Joe's name, it reminded me. Anyway, I'll get those today. But Joe looks like we have another poem. We really hate when our bananas turn brown. We hate when the market goes limit down. When we sold all our stocks, it seemed like kind of rash, but it feels really good to have nothing but cash. Boy, isn't that true? We really hate when our bananas turn brown. We hate when the market goes limit down. When we sold all our stocks, it seemed kind of rash, but it feels really good to have nothing in cash. Boy, isn't that the truth? I am not all in cash at the moment. Actually, most of my trades right now are options. But it is a good feeling, and it hurts to sell those stocks at first. But boy, people that sold their stocks, even a few days ago are really, really glad they did. It's kind of a strange sensation. When you get out, you always feel like you're going to get out at the very bottom. It's going to reverse back upon you, but 2-3 days down after, you're feeling pretty good. So thank you, Joe, for coming. Hi, Christopher. Good to see you, my friend. Hope you're having a nice evening. Zach is here. Hey, Zach. Good to see you, my friend. Always nice to have Zach here. Andrea. Good to see you, Andrea. Hi, everyone. It's snowing here. Is it really? Interesting. Oh, little earthquake update. We had another one here in Utah yesterday. It wasn't that big. I think it was like 3.9 or something like that, but I didn't feel this one, luckily. All right. Well, let's go through my positions. I only had one directional position, which was the overnight SPY trade. The rest of my holdings right now are puts. Well, they're options. I have some calls, I have some puts, and you know, the way that I am viewing the market, this is a little bit, well, not a little bit, it's a lot unique market. I mean, this is kind of unprecedented time. So I'm kind of expressing my trades right now in calls and puts, protection on the downside, and then I have been buying long-term calls. In my opinion, it's just my opinion, it's not a recommendation, but in my opinion right now, I think we need time to get through all of this mess with the infections and so forth and so on. And so I have been buying some long-term calls on some good companies, you know, some of the best companies in the world that have strong balance sheets, that have a lot of cash on hand, that are going to be around. And my my theory on this, my trade idea on this is, give it a year or 18 months or 2 years, and we'll probably get through this. But, what do I know? It's just a theory. It's just a trade idea that I'm expressing. So anyway, Walt Disney, first up. So this is a put that I sold on Walt Disney. I sold it down here to $50, expiring January 15th. Basically, at this point, it gives me about 40% protection to the downside. If it does get down there, I would be obligated to buy it there. The reason I picked the $50 mark on Disney on the yearly chart, right here in the middle of the value zone, on the quarterly chart, third ATR channel, on the monthly chart, we have the 200 and the 250 as support. So when I sell puts, and I certainly don't recommend this for everyone, but when I sell puts, I want to see some support from a major moving average or a major technical level, not just on one time frame, but on 3 time frames. And the thing with these puts right now, although they can be very risky, don't get me wrong, even with this 40% protection on Disney, I'm not feeling super great about it. But I am getting some premium every day. There's some time decay that's working for me. So we shall see. We shall see. And, if I have to buy Disney at $50, I'll just see when that time comes. But the premium for getting puts in this hugely volatile market right now is, on an annualized basis, somewhere between 8, 9, 10% and more, with a lot of protection. So that's one way I'm expressing. And strangely enough, the market's down 721 points, but because of these puts and because of some of the decrease in volatility today, I'm actually up on the day, which is amazing, and I'm not used to that, so that's good. Qs. Again, I did sell puts on the Qs down here to $130 right now, that are $168.64. Does give me about roughly 22% protection to the downside. $350 per contract was the premium. These expire in June 2020. So when I do these, I'm doing them on different time frames. I'm not doing them all on the same time frame as far as expiration. On the yearly here, we have the 10-year moving average. That's why I wrote it at 130. We have support of the -1 ATR channel here on the quarterly. On the monthly, the 130 price dovetails nicely with that third ATR channel. So that is why I sold the puts on the Qs. But we'll see. Is 20% protection enough? We'll see. We shall see. All right. SPY trade. So in case we have some new viewers, I want to quickly go over this. I do buy the SPY every day at the end of the day. I hold it overnight and I sell it first thing the next morning. I don't base it upon technicals, anything like that, resistance, support. I just base it upon a long-term back tested study from Liz Ann Saunders at Bespoke Invest on Twitter. But this back test started in 1993. They tested two approaches every single day. The first approach was buying the SPY at the open in the morning, selling it at the close. If you would have used this approach every day, you would have returned a negative 13.9%. The second option is the one I used, buying the SPY at the close, holding it overnight, selling it first thing the next morning. If you did this every day since 1993, 634.2% return. Past performance is no guarantee of future results, which is totally true. But if you look at this in the long term, you can see this definitely has had an edge. There's ups and downs. I mean, here we went down for 2 years in a row, and a year and a half, and a year. So there are ups and downs. This is no easy holy grail. I mean, and right now, 2020's been brutal for me. I mean, it's taken almost about everything that I made in 2019. With the added volatility, I have reduced my position size significantly, only down to a quarter of a position. So instead of a 10% position size, I've only been taking a quarter position size, which in a normal market, a quarter position in a normal market, a quarter position in this volatile market is just the same as a full position in a non-volatile market. So when volatility increases, you have to adjust your position size. Otherwise, you have just that much more risk. And so I am very glad that I did that. This was pretty much a break even. Well, no, it was a loss, but it was pretty close to break even. They're so close here. I can't even get I think I bought it 228.80. Yeah. I bought it 228.80 Friday, and I sold at 228. So it was an 80-cent loss on a quarter position. So I was actually thrilled with that, to be honest with you, especially when how the futures were down. Okay, that was my only directional trade. Back to options. I did sell some puts on Exxon down here at $25, expiring 1/15/21, $300 per contract. Is this going to hold? Geez, I don't know. I have a maximum loss on any option trade that I take, just like I have a maximum loss on any directional trade that I take. And so if I hit that maximum loss, I'm out. There's no questions asked. That's just how it goes. But it's not there yet, and we'll see how it goes. MasterCard. A little different on MasterCard. This is a call, not a put. I did buy MasterCard 1/15/21 $230 calls. So this gives me 9 months, and currently we're at 204.98. This is a defined risk. When you buy calls, there are defined risks. So even if the market goes to zero, you can't lose any more. And this is one of those approaches that I mentioned, that buying some of the best companies in the world, good balance sheet, lots of cash, and just trying to get some time on my side. We'll see how things end up. But again, if this gets to a maximum loss before it makes its move, just like any other trade, right? I mean, I've hit bunches of maximum losses, emergency losses this year, and this would just be another one. And then Apple. So 2 trades on Apple here. I did sell $170 puts, expiring 1/15/21, $1,380 per contract. So if Apple gets to 170, I would be required to buy that. The reason I picked $170 was on the yearly chart, you have the 3rd ATR channel as support. On the weekly chart, on the quarterly chart, you have the 20 quarter there that lines up with the 170. On the monthly chart, you have the 50-month moving average, and on the weekly chart, you have the 200-week moving average. So that is why I picked that. I also did buy some calls. These are out to June 18th, 21. So about 15 months from now, $250 calls. Again, this is a defined risk. So even if Apple goes to zero, I can only lose what I have there. Again, I'm buying these calls because I just want some time to try to get through this. And so is it going to work? Who knows? We shall see, but I've always got that emergency stop in place, which is always very important. All right. So, Andrew says it's snowing. That's crazy. We might get a little snow here too. It's cold. Hi, Brian. Good to see you. Appreciate you coming. Melka, hello. Or Metka, hello. Appreciate coming. Nice to have you here today. Thank you. Another guy from Slovenia. Oh, perfect. Perfect. You and Marco. All right. Hey, Steve Burns. Good to see you. Always appreciate you coming, Steve. Always a pleasure to have you here. Always an honor to have you here to be able to rub shoulders with Steve Burns. And thank you for all you do with your website, newtraderu.com. Your weekly video newsletters, which I subscribe to, which I highly recommend. And that's also at newtraderu.com. Steve says, hi, guys and gals. I hope everyone is staying safe in this chaos. Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it, Steve? Super, super crazy. Marco says, hi, Steve. Hey, Metka. Hello, Marco. Steve, I read your post daily, so I am on safe side. Good, good, good. Frank, hey, buddy. Good to see you. Frank says, hi, Greg and group. The Fed is warming up the helicopter. Yeah, everyone seems like it's a foregone conclusion. Are we gonna get this stimulus thing passed? I assume we are. I mean, that's how I feel, but it almost seems too easy of a guess. And even if they do get it, who knows if it's going to go up or not, right? That's the crazy thing. And we had all this, talk from the Fed this morning, say they're basically going to be buying everything up. Market went up, and then the market sold off. So interesting times for sure. Let me take a little look-see here. Okie dokie. Oh, just give me 1 second. Okay. So listen, before we go through the watch list, before we look at some potential, end of day trades, I always do like to talk about trader psychology during this live stream. I think it is the most important part of your trading, learning how to trade and entries and exits and indicators and support and resistance are all very important. You have to have them in order to devise and develop a plan, right? But the problem is you could be the best chartist in the world. You could put together one of the best plans in the world, but if you can't follow it, it really doesn't do you any good. So being able to create a plan and having the discipline to follow the plan, that is a real skill in trading. And if you're finding yourself changing your mind a lot, not sticking with your plan, that's a skill that you really need to work on. You need to somehow hone that skill. And in my opinion, reducing position size is a good way to not let emotions get the best of you. And position sizing, especially in this market with the volatile market, is so super important. So I do like to go through Twitter. I do like to go through Facebook. There are a lot of good Facebook and Twitter posts out there. There's some great channels. They spend a lot of time and energy, burn a lot of calories on putting out good trading words of wisdom for us. And this is a great one. Lone Stock Trader, at Lone Stock Trader on Twitter. He has a great channel. He posts some really good information, but let's see what Lone Stock Trader has to say. For those of you who've been caught wrong-footed in this volatile market, you haven't failed yet. You're just learning a new lesson taught by Mr. Market. As long as you're learning from your mistakes, you're growing as a trader, money comes and goes, experience stays. Isn't that true? I mean, a lot of people have been caught wrong-footed in this volatile market, for sure. They've had losses, I've had losses, but you have paid for those losses, right? You might as well learn something from them. You've paid for them. So, you're just learning a new lesson taught by Mr. Market. So even if you do have drawdowns, and we all have drawdowns, it's just part of trading. It's no fun, no doubt about it. If you remember a few months ago, when I was doing really great and just every day profit targets, I said, there will be a time where you will feel like you'll never make money on another trade again. I didn't know it was going to be this bad, but it was true. But on the flip side of that, there will be a time where you make profitable trades again and again and again and again, and and it will feel like you'll never have another losing time. But of course, that will come around as well. But, you're learning a new lesson taught by Mr. Market. So, try to learn from your mistakes. What could you learn? Well, position sizing, big one, right? Position sizing is a really, really big one. If I look back at, things I could have improved on, I felt pretty good with my trading, but I probably should have cut some position size a little earlier when volatility. So that's a lesson I've learned, right? I've paid for it. But as long as you're learning from your mistakes, you're growing as a trader. Money comes and goes, experience stays. And I'll tell you one thing, getting through this market, getting through this huge move down, correction, bear markets, market crash, whatever you want to call it, that experience is going to stay with you for the rest of your trading career for sure. So anyway, thank you for that, Lone Stock Trader. Appreciate it. But again, as long as you're learning from your mistakes, you're growing as a trader, money comes and goes, experience stays. So, take heart that you do have some experience of going through a market like this, and that will help you in the future. Oh, we'll move this over here. Okay. Where did my stuff go? Oh, I forgot. Well, let me start here at the top. Bob is here. Good to see you, Bob. Appreciate that. Steve said the Fed's out of toilet paper. Andrew says they keep failing in the Senate. Hi, Greg. Took profit on BOH. Grateful for that. Shorted CAT 94.10 in Cisco. All right. So Bing He had a fantastic. Look at this short trade. Shorted, I believe, here at 55.95. Is that right, Bing He? And don't know where he covered, but this thing's down 12% today. So fantastic, Bing He. Proud of you, my friend. Couldn't happen to a nicer guy, seriously. And you shorted CAT. All right. So let's get CAT on the board, and let's get Cisco on the board as well. So we shorted CAT at 94.10. Oh, was that? Maybe that was today, huh? 94.10. Yeah, the easier money has certainly been made on the downside. That is for sure. I don't know anybody who's made any money on the upside. Bing He. And Cisco at 35.35. Already in the money like that. Nice. Nice. All right, we'll get that lined up there. Wow, Bing He, you're doing great, buddy. Congratulations. All right, I've got you up on the board there. Okay. Christopher says, Prime Minister to address the nation at 8:30. Think that they're going to put UK on complete lockdown. Oh, boy. He is in England, Andrea, in Leeds. Dan says, hey, Steve, funny. Maybe Fed needs a bidet. Ooh. Dr. Jorgen says, interesting note on the virus. One of the symptoms of the disease is loss of taste and smell, sometimes before you have other symptoms. So if you can't smell or taste anymore, get tested. Good advice, Bruce. Steve says XLRE, XLU, XLP, XLK, XLV, all currently down below support, all making new lows. Yep. Dan says, Dr. Jorgensen, symptoms seen with virus. So true. My 2002 experience saved me from a lot of bad 2008 experiences. Yeah, totally right, Steve, right? Next time something like this comes around, you will be a better trader for it. Frank, hey, here we go. Frank has a poem. It's no mystery. This market has made history. How will you recall your actions? Was it with focus or fear and distractions? Today will be tomorrow. This market you won't forget. So make the choices you won't regret. Fantastic, Frank. And I'll get those posted. I actually didn't post those last poems. I don't know why. I guess I do. I just forgot. So I'll have two groups to post here because people really do like that on Twitter. Christopher says it's 1928 at the moment. Yes, shorted at 55.95. Okay, good. And you're out of that one. Congratulations, Bing He. Nice. Joe Turner says you can replace sugar with saccharin and saccharin with sweet and low, but you can't replace experience. Oh, nice. Christopher says those times for PM should have PM afterwards. LOL. Yeah, I was looking, Steve, at TDOC. Breaking out up 14% today, and Zoom. Look at this. Look at this breakout here. Whoa, what a breakout. Did you buy that, Steve? Did you buy Zoom? Or are you looking at that? Hi, Greg. CLX coming back into the value zone. Look to buy it at 100 EMA. Hey, Glenn. Good to see you. Let's take a look. Yeah. Yep, that's what you were waiting for, weren't you? That's what you were waiting for. Looking for the 100 EMA. Okay, I don't have 100 EMA, but I have 100 SMA. But yes, you're right. Back into the value zone. You know, better to buy back in value than above value, which, you know, this is down quite a bit today. Andrew says, I've been trading VXX. VXX, interesting, right? Down 11.89% today on such a big down day. It's kind of interesting to me how these things have decoupled. Okay. All right, so the bill failed again. All right. I mean, I imagine they're going to get it through. Who knows? Who knows what goes on in politics? That seems like a kind of a crazy business, right? How are we doing on time? All right. Well, let's poke our way down through here, see if we have anything to look at. Certainly interesting to look at these things anyway. Bing He said, Steve, I thought of going into TDOC, but did not due to the bearish kangaroo tail last 2 days rejected. Yeah, I was noticing that too. I mean, you know, the last 2 days went up, came down, went up, came down, which are bearish. You know, Dr. Alexander Elder called these bearish kangaroo tails, but you know, sometimes just because they're bearish doesn't mean it can't go up the next day. This looks like it rejected the 70 RSI earlier today. If I'd have been in this trade for whatever reason, I wish I'd have taken this V1 right here back in the value zone, but I didn't. That is probably where I would be getting out. Hey, Kamal, good to see you, bud. Nice to have you here. Kamal and I were chatting earlier. Steve Burns says, same for me, Bing He on ZM. Okay, so yeah, Friday we had the breakout, but it was off of its high. It didn't close very strong. Frank says, I guess the Senate can't handle a bridge that actually goes somewhere. Okay. All right. Let's run through here and see. To be honest with you, you know, there are a few setups here. I'm not going to take any directional trades. I feel fine with the puts and calls that I have here that give me some time and give me some protection. The one thing that I'm not seeing on a lot of charts at this point, I'm not seeing any strong up volume. You know, the down moves, and like Friday had a lot of strong volume. Even on some of these up days, I'm seeing really weak volume on the upside. You know, if you read How to Make Money in Stocks by William O'Neill, you know, in his volume section, he talks about, you know, when you're trying to pick a low, wait to see for the day to, you know, take out the previous day's high or have an up day on, you know, like double the volume to the upside. So I have not seen that. So here's Apple. It's a 3308. Don't think that it rejected the 30 RSI yet. I think it bounced right at the 30. But again, I have puts, I have calls on Apple. I don't want to add anything else here. And plus, that would be the only thing it would have, would be an under 30, over 30, or even if it bounced to the 30. Adobe, it's been kind of hanging around this 200. The 200 has lost, really, the price has lost respect to the 200. We're below, we're above, we're below, we're above, we're below, we're above. You know, it's the 200 has lost any meaning. You know, at this point, you might have to go out to the weekly and trade off of, you know, possibly trade off a weekly where something did hold support, which is like this 100 week moving average. Amazon up. You know, this is a under 200, over 200. This is a legitimate entry with the close back below the 200. I don't like the volume. You can see the volume here is really kind of weak. Really kind of weak. So, you know, if you're totally mechanically trading Amazon under, get out, over, get in, well, I guess there's a signal, but you know, I'm not going to take this because I already have exposure with the Qs and with Apple. But who knows? That could be a good risk to reward ratio, but you don't know. But the one thing that concerns me here is the low volume, and currently we're under 50 RSI, right? So I would like it a lot better if it closed above the 50. That would make me feel better about it than it rejecting the 50. Boeing's having a strong day today, up almost 10%. I think JP Morgan or Goldman Sachs came out and actually upgraded it, said they have enough cash to survive. But, you know, if I'm going to go bottom fishing here, it's not going to be on Boeing. It's going to be on Apple. It's going to be on MasterCard, something like that. Berkshire Hathaway, my gosh, has that been brutal. No triggers there. Beyond Meat, still under the 30 RSI, under the negative third ATR channel. Caterpillar, being he shorted, 94.10. It's down to 91.71. Congratulations, being he. Just make sure you have a plan, right? With any trade, whether it's long, short, sideways, upside down, selling puts, buying puts, selling calls, buying calls, whatever you have, make sure you have a plan. And most important thing is make sure you have that maximum loss dialed in. The Dow still under the 30 RSI, nothing there. Walt Disney, of course, I sold the puts on here down to 50. It's at 84. Is it enough? I have no idea. We'll see. We'll see. I would like to see this close above a 30 RSI just on a daily, on directional. It would be good. I mean, it would be good for my puts, right, to have that close above. But right now we're battling right there at the 30. Etsy, little V1 here today. You know, one indication, but it's under 30. It would not be enough for me to take today. It's up today. That's something. Facebook, well, so far that under 30, over 30 has held, is above the negative third ATR channel. You know, that's better. You know, if you have something that went under 30, over 30, I would much rather have something that went under 30, over 30, and was also above the negative third ATR channel. See how long we've been below the negative third ATR channel? Just forever, right? In order to get back up here, obviously you have to move back through that negative third ATR channel first. Gold's having a huge day, up 4.36%, massive. You see how we gapped through the 200-day moving average? That's strong. That's called the gap and go instead of a gap and crap, right? You've gapped and it's gone up. Would I chase it here? You know, it really would depend on what my time frame. If I had a long-term time frame on gold and said, okay, I'm just going to buy this and hold it as long as it holds over the 200, not reject at the 50 or anything like that, then yeah, maybe. But you know, I think we got close to rejecting the 50 RSI anyway, and right now the risk to reward wouldn't make sense. But congratulations if any of you have gold. Google, again, I'm not taking any directional trades today. Again, because I have calls and puts and I don't want to have more account heat. But it looks like we did go under 30 RSI today, and currently we're over 30. We're having an issue with this negative third ATR channel. We're having an issue with the resistance of this previous low of this range. If this could get back over, it would be pretty good. Under 30, or bounce at the 30, under the third ATR channel, under the negative third ATR channel, over rejection of the previous low, which would be a false breakout and a pretty good, defined risk. If I did take this, I would probably take a quarter position. I probably would have to take a quarter position, half at the very max. But you can see, look at these, look at the difference between the Keltner channels. See how big those are? That means volatility's expanded. If we go back to normal days, well, let's see. If we go back to normal days, look at the volatility bands. Just here to here, here to here. Now they're double that, if not triple, right? So if you took a 10% position back here, taking a third of a position over here would be about the same thing. So, Google looks okay, but it would, for me, I would really want to see that close above the third ATR channel and above that previous low to get involved, but I'm not getting involved in that. And Goldman Sachs, down a couple percent, holding the 30 RSI, but see Google much stronger because under 30, over 30, and at least we're dealing with the third ATR channel. I mean, we're right on the button, whereas Goldman Sachs is way under the negative third, and that's going to act as resistance. Home Depot having a nice, did I speak too soon? Oh, right. Home Depot having a nice day. Looks like it was a under 30, over 30, still battling with that third ATR channel though. So nothing there. I'm actually looking at picking up some Home Depot on some long-term calls here. But I want some kind of entry signal before I do it, whether it's testing another major support like on a monthly or on a weekly. But see, on the weekly, it's lost all of its support already. So I'm just going to be patient on that. IBB, nothing really there. Intel up 5.3% today. That's pretty good. We made this sideways movement, inside bar, looks like inside bar, and we're finally breaking out of that. So we've had some sideways movement, which leads to directional moves. A lot of the time, we just don't know what direction and we don't know when it's going to happen. IWM down 3% today. Good job on your puts, Dr. Jorgensen. We have puts on Dr. Jorgensen here. We actually sold those puts, thankfully, up at $150, right? So this has been a 5 times on the options, 5 times, which is unbelievable. And I'm really thankful that we at least had that. Johnson & Johnson, just really weak today. Boy, close over that 200 and then close below. If you had taken that, you would have definitely wanted to get out there instead of staying in every day. How much lower can it go? It can go a lot lower. CarMax found a little bit of a base, still under the 30 RSI. Coca-Cola's just been beat up under the 30 RSI. No signals here whatsoever. Lockheed Martin holding above the 30. That's at least something, but below the negative third ATR channel. MasterCard, rejection of the third ATR channel, the negative third ATR channel to above, and the negative 30 RSI. So those are both not good signs. Mickey D's down 6% today. Mickey D's is another one that I'm thinking about buying some long-term calls on. If I switch over here to the monthly, right down here around 118 is probably where I would start getting interested in buying some calls. Merck, big down day, nothing there. Microsoft, holding in there pretty good, still under the 200, still under the 250, still above the 30 RSI, which is pretty strong. On the weekly, I'm looking to buy some Microsoft calls as well. Kind of looking down here about the $125 level. Netflix, I believe, is up, right? Up 8.92%. Well, I was watching Netflix last night, watching the Unabomber show. That was interesting. Nothing there. I guess the time to buy that would have been back with the initial buy, but now the risk to reward from the 200 doesn't make sense. Nike getting beat up. Looks like it has earnings coming. That should be interesting. Philip Morris down. Nothing there. Although it does look like it went under the 30, over the 30 today. But again, that is about it. And in this market, That's just not enough. Well, it looks like we had a false breakout to the downside as well, but we still have the negative third ATR channel above us as resistance. PayPal, don't see anything there. Q's above the 30, above the negative third ATR channel. I like that, but nothing there for me. Silver, I know, had a big day, up 6% along with gold, so that's good. Went under 30, over 30. Went under the 5 EMA, over the EMA. Closed this the high of this gap here. Pretty good, but again, I'm being very conservative right now with the puts and the calls. SPY, what happened to my chart? Luckily, glad I got out when I did with the overnight SPY trade. Took an 80-cent loss. That seems like a win in this market, but I will be buying this again. Again, just a quarter position. TDOC, we talked about this earlier with Steve Burns, very, very strong. If I had got in this trade, see, we had this pullback to value. We were above the 1 ATR channel. We came in, we had this wasn't a couple days sideways. That's why I didn't take it. Although this V1 up against this smaller bar, that would have been the place. But had I taken this trade in the value zone, I would be getting out here with the close. Looks like it's going to close under the 70 RSI. Bonds back with the vengeance, actually, which in a strange way is a little bit, I think, good for the market, in the sense that, you know, interest rates go opposite of bond prices. So bond prices are going up here, meaning interest rates are going down, which in this market is, you know, what we don't want to have slowing growth and higher interest rates. That's stagflation. Tesla still holding above its 200-day. That's interesting. Let's look at this on a weekly chart. Down here, 309. Also considered buying some long-term puts on Tesla, but again, I want to see it get down to some kind of support level on a weekly or a monthly chart. Twitter up today a little bit, nothing there. United Airlines up 5.76%. Can you imagine that is 5.76%? That really goes to show you how large these moves were. Natural gas, nothing really there. UNH, United Health Group, it's just getting obliterated. It looks like it may have gone under 30 and over 30, but man, that is not enough for me right now. Oil was down 8% overnight. That's hanging in there, forming a little bit of a base. The VIX down 15%. The VXX, unbelievable, but you know, one of these days we might get a pullback into value here. Verizon's been all sorts of choppy. Walgreens had that big rally last week, and now it's giving it all back. How are we doing on time? Walmart back in the value zone, starting to move sideways. That's at least somewhat positive. I would need the bars to narrow here. Really like to see a couple days sideways movement, and then a close. Ideally, a V1 or a V2 that at the same time closed above the 200-day would be fantastic. XLE is just getting hammered, down 9% today. Financials just getting hammered. My goodness. I mean, these financials just at the beginning of the year were $30. Now they're $17. Real estate just getting pummeled. Just getting pummeled under the 30, under the third ATR channel. Utilities just getting pummeled. Unbelievable. I mean, even if we go to the weekly, no support on the weekly. If we go to the monthly, well, maybe down here at the 100-month moving average, who knows? Healthcare, no bueno. And Zoom, lots of bueno. Lots of bueno. So, Bing, he had a nice trade on this. I know he wished he would have kept it for today, obviously, right? But be grateful. Be grateful that, you know, you got what you got, Bing He. Take a look here. Yeah, so for me right now, I don't see anything. If I was in the mood to get into anything today, a possibility for me might be Amazon with the close back over the 200, but I already feel like I have exposure with the Qs and Apple, so I'm not going to do that. But back tested, the close under, close back over the 200 does back test well in the long term. Have a MACD crossover here. We're back over 50. That's better. So what else were we looking at? Disney did go under 30, over 30, maybe back over the negative 30 TR channel. But again, I already have Disney. MasterCard was looking better earlier in the day, but I don't see anything. So I really don't see anything. I feel pretty good with my current positions with the puts and the calls. Like I said, there's a few companies out there like Microsoft, and Home Depot, and possibly McDonald's that I'm interested in possibly buying some long-term calls, maybe out to 2022, just to give some time and buy some of the best companies with the best balance sheets that will weather this storm. And I think the most important thing right now, is an investment horizon in this particular market is having time on your side. And right now with the calls, I feel like that's kind of where I'm focused. Frank says they now call it Berkshire went that way. If any of you have Berkshire Hathaway, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to make fun at your expense, but that was pretty dang funny, Frank. I imagine if something would come back, it would be Berkshire Hathaway's group of products. Peter Schiff had to eventually be right on gold. Yeah, you know that old saying, how bearish are you between zero and Peter Schiff? on your bearish dial between zero and Peter Schiff. Yeah, he was right. I listen to Peter Schiff. I definitely listen to Peter Schiff, but he has been right lately, for sure. Jackson, good to see you. Hope you're having a good morning, my friend. Thanks for the emails. I always like communicating back and forth with you. Mount Doji is here. Finally, we were all waiting, Mount Doji. Glad to have you here, my friend. Hope you're staying safe. Steve says the Dow Jones Industrial is down 35% year to date. Unbelievable. At the beginning of the year when we were up 10% in the first month, I'm like, is this reality? This can't be reality that you're up 10% in 1 month. I was pretty bearish, if you guys remember. I wasn't buying anything up there. I heard people bragging to me about how much money they were making and how much you making, Greg. I'm like, well, I'm not really in the market. It's a little too high. Ha ha. Right. But that old saying, sell when everyone's talking about how much money they're making in the market, is pretty true. Steve says, one of my buddies bought TVX at 39, sold it in the 90s. Wow. And thought he had a great trade until it kept going. He had 500 shares and missed a $500,000 trade by not using a trailing stop. Yeah, that's brutal. That is brutal. But listen, anytime we have a profitable trade, we should be happy. I'd have been happy for a few profitable trades in the last week, even if they were little, right? But remember, we all go through losing periods. We just need to focus on losing less money, right? And you can do that by position sizing. Yeah, that's tough, Steve. I'm sure he was super happy at the moment when it happened, right? But it's funny how we are as humans. We're happy. We made a lot of money, but they're like, nah, we're not happy. We didn't make as much money as would have. Yep, trailing stop. Andrea, Steve Burns, wow, what a bummer. Yep. Bing He says, I wanted to short ALXN instead of CAT, but it gapped up open and it is in biotech, which has strong relative strength. I decided on CAT. Well, it seems like you're doing good on CAT so far. Okay, we have 5 minutes. I am going to buy the S&P overnight trade. That's all I'm buying. Quarter position. Looks like Disney. Any news? Let me know if you hear any news, anybody. I can't believe what an amazingly profitable day I have. I was talking about this with Kamal, and options, buying, selling puts, buying calls, all these kind of things. Options have to do with time and price and volatility, and time and price are black and white. But volatility is the mystery secret sauce in options, right? And with puts, if volatility falls, then if you sold puts, you made money. So it's a weird animal. But yes, I mean, unbelievable. I have had such a great day today when the market is down like this, but it is because of the options. So trust me, I am thoroughly grateful to have green on my screen. It seems like it's been forever. I mean, this has been like the cut, you know, the what do they call it? Chinese water torture. So Walt Disney, you know, I'm not going to take this trade, but this is pretty interesting. We have a V1 under 30, over 30, under the negative third ATR channel, over the third ATR channel. If I did not already have puts on Disney, I would probably buy this like with a quarter position or something. Apple trying to go green. Steve says all the gains since Trump was president were given back at the low today. Isn't that something? I remember that time. The futures were down 1,000 points. I thought I was seeing like an alien that the futures were down 1,000 points. Now that's just a Tuesday, right? Steve says, let's look at the TVIX chart. TVIX, boom. Woo. Wow. Well, I guess this trailing stop might have been here. Did you give me the numbers on that? 39 into the 9. Oh, he bought at 39. Oh. So he bought in this huge base and he sold it at 90 and it went up to 900. Isn't that amazing? You know the 50 cents guy, 50 Cent, the guy that buys options? The guy made $1 billion. Made $1 billion on buying VIX. Which is a bummer because I have always, you know, you guys have seen me. I've had VIX for a long time. I didn't have it through this. Frank says, talk about the perfect storm. I'm located 2 minutes from Peter Schiff and 15 minutes from Liz Ann Saunders here in the coastal Connecticut, and it's under a flood warning. Well, wow. I hope you're all right, Frank. So, yeah, Peter Schiff does live there. I didn't know Liz Ann Saunders. Hey, run over to Liz Ann Saunders' house for me, Frank. Tell her Greg's sorry for skipping the overnight SPY trade one day, but she kind of has to understand in this market. Well, I hope you're okay with the flood. You got floods there. We have earthquakes here in Utah. Greg says, any difference between put options and shorting? Which one is more risky? Oh, probably shorting, because with the put option being you have a limited risk. If it goes way up, all you can lose is the premium that you paid for the put option. So, you know, you have to figure out what your strike price is, whether it's in the money, out of the money, at the money, what the expiration date is, that kind of stuff. You know, if you have questions later, Bing-Hee, we can talk about that if you want to get a better idea on that. But like I said, buying those, I bought puts on the IWM at 150, and luckily for a account that I manage, and luckily, I mean, that thing's gone up a huge amount. So if you have questions about that, but yeah, shorting would be much more risky than buying a put. Jackson says, glad to hear you've got a profit today, Greg. Got some profit too. It is a time where it truly makes you grateful for these small percentages. Yes, it does. And congratulations, Jackson hit an all-time, I believe you hit an all-time high last week. So Jackson's a former student of mine and such a great student. Very glad to have him, and I'm impressed more and more with Jackson on his analytical skills and his coding skills. Brian says, I want to buy puts, but I don't understand them. Well, you know, the nice thing with puts, you buy them. If it goes down, you make money, depending on what the delta is. Brian's like, what's the delta, right? But the main thing is their defined risk, Brian. If you're wrong, you're wrong. You lose. You can only lose what you put in them. It's a defined risk, and well, you don't have theoretically unlimited profit because it could go to zero. But, there's a lot of YouTube channels out there. Just type in the basic of options, buying options, selling options. And if you have any questions, Brian, let me know. But as you can see, I mean, the majority of my trades lately have been options and call options because, like I said, long-term call options on like Apple and MasterCard out a year or longer, or almost a year and then longer than a year. And they're defined risks. So all I can lose is what I bought them for. So, I don't do a ton with options. At least I haven't over the last couple of years. I sold some puts, but I haven't bought calls for years and years and years. But in this particular market, I've decided that it's probably not a bad way to express some long-term approaches. Andrew says, Frank, you guys are getting rain, but we're getting snow here in MA, so I need a sleigh, not an ark. Brian, I've been looking for option info as well. Guys, there are tons of things on online. I'm trying to remember what that channel is really good. They sell courses and stuff, but they do have some good free stuff on YouTube. Yeah, I can't think of it offhand. I'll have to look. No, that's not the name. But anyway, if you have some questions here, I'm happy to try to answer them. Zach says Brandon Koo does a 2-series video that is at least informational, if nothing else may help at least till Greg makes his video. Yeah, I am gonna do that video, Zach, but I'm gonna do it on selling puts. I'm not going to do it completely on all aspects of calls and buying calls and selling calls. I was just going to do them based on technical analysis, based upon selling calls with technical support on multiple levels. Man, I'm trying to think here. Let me see if I can. Trying to look here real quick. Okay. So listen, these guys sell courses. I'm not endorsing this at all, but they do have some good video. And they're young guys, but they have some really good animated. There it is right there, Skyview Trading. They have some good animated videos that are free that will give you the options, and the way they explain it is pretty good. So just look up Skyview Trading on YouTube. Okay, so listen, where did I buy my SPY here? I bought my SPY at 222.95. Okay, and I took an 80-cent loss there. So 222.95. Okay, so that's for tomorrow. Listen, if you have any other questions, or if you have options questions, I'm happy to answer them. But just real quick, let me just put in my quick little plug, if you don't mind, and just let everybody know that I do offer private one-on-one coaching and teaching lessons in the evening time via Skype. I have a course. It's five sessions. Each session is between 2 and 3 hours. It is $1,000, but I think it is well worth the money. I teach you everything I've learned over the last 24 years as a full-time trader. I teach you everything I've learned from all my great coaches and mentors over those years, like Stephen Burns and Dr. Alexander Elder and Carrie Lavorne and Larry Williams, all the stuff I've developed myself. But I think it's a good course. It's pretty intense. Be ready to answer a lot of questions. Be ready to teach back to me what I taught you. But I think it's really great to, whatever you're learning, to do it one-on-one with somebody, because you can ask them questions. It's a little bit different than reading a book. I can't remember who I was speaking with, but when you, I think it was Karen, one of my current clients, but when you read a trading book, you always see the graph of that particular approach working. Like If I was in charge of all trading books, if I was a trading book policeman, I would make everybody put in one picture of where that setup worked and one where it didn't, right? Because they don't always work. But anyway, that the point is with one-on-one trading, it's training. It's really good because you can ask questions right there, get an answer right there. We go through tons of charts. We do tons of chart study. I make you break down the chart. What's good here? What's bad? Pros, cons, profit target, all this kind of stuff. And we see trades that don't work. We see them all the time because in real life, they don't always work, right? So it gives you some perspective. So anyway, if you're interested, let me know. I am working with several clients right now. But I think at the end of next week, I will have some time opening. But if you're interested, set up a free Skype call with me. I promise there's no obligation. There would be absolutely no pressure for me on the Skype call. It'd be nice to put a face to the name. I just like to know more about you. I like to know, what your trading approach has been, what your challenges have been, what your goals are. And then you can ask me any question as well. And, if we decide we're a right fit and our schedules line up, then we can go ahead and schedule the class. So reach out to me. My email's in the description of this video, or you can send me a message on Twitter and we'll get something set up that way as well. But I think you'll like it. I think the money that you will spend on this, you'll come away from it going, that was money well spent. Hope so, right? That's my goal. I do my very best every time I work with a client. So, and that will be you, Miko 25. We're working on that tonight. And then also, if you don't mind, if you like today's content, if you found it helpful, please do me a favor. And if you can hit the thumbs up button on the way out of here, that would be really great. I've been having this problem with YouTube last few days, showing my videos, but they're not putting it out there. They're not streaming it, although I've had some conflicting reports, but I didn't see it today. So anyway, I hope I get that resolved. I don't think we talked about anything too controversial on this channel, although maybe they're banning me for having poems. Frank, Joe, no, I'm kidding, right? Okay, so that's that. Let's see if anybody has any other questions here. Thanks, Greg and Miko. I'll look at both. Being he, I think I reached a stage where I am too disappointed in my own trading that I did not want to push myself to learn new things, but focused to do buys and shorts only. By focusing, hope it works for me. Of course, being he, anything you specialize in, right? But you're having some good trades here, my friend. Right? The one trade that you made 12% on, the cat trade down, Cisco trade down. Fantastic. I'm proud of you, being he. Dr. Jordan says, good hike, stay warm. Joe Turner, take care, everyone. Stay safe. You too, Joe. Thanks for coming. Thanks for the poem today. Jackson says, I'm glad I became obsessed with risk before this whole crash. I probably sound like a broken record, but truly believe if you are more focused on risk than profit, you will be more profitable. I'm going to do a psychology section this week, Jackson, on your saying. Could you send me a graphic of that? Or can you put it on Facebook or Twitter? I'm not sure you're on there, but I mean, it's so true. It's so true, Jackson, and I want to talk about that. Zach said, I completely get what you mean. I have also thought the same thing. I just continue here that this may be a good time for options, so figure the more I can learn. Yeah, well, Zach, message me on Twitter or something. Let's spend a half an hour, 45 minutes on Skype together or something, and I'll give you a quick lesson, no charge. Metka says, bye to all of you. Thank you, Metka. Appreciate you coming by. Always nice to have you. Frank says, we are risk managers first, traders second. Boy, isn't that the truth? 100% the truth. All right, what's going on? Any news? Dow sheds 3% after coronavirus bill fails in Senate for second time. Come on, everybody. Let's get it together. I'm not talking about everyone in the group. I'm talking about Congress. Senate. Wow, what an interesting day. I'm just so honestly, sincerely thrilled to have a nice up day today. Like, it feels so foreign to me. Kind of sad, right? You just get used to the losses. Yeah, this is good. Jackson says, I will. Yeah, send it to me. You see the little graphics that I do it on, but uh, I'm not good with like Photoshop or anything like that. I know you are. You have to be. Thanks, Kamal. Appreciate it, my friend. Good seeing you. Have a good day, my friend. Okay, Zach says, thumbs up all. Yes, thank you, Zach. Appreciate that. Um, yeah, Zach, get a hold of me. We'll spend a half hour, whatever, and we'll go through some option basic. Jackson said, just remove my Facebook account. Haha, tired of stupidity. I'll be very glad to graphic that up. Awesome. Thank you, Jackson. Or Darth Trader. Zach says, Greg, thanks, will do. Okay, good. God help our country. I'm with you on that, bud. Okay. Well, congratulations to Bing He on those short positions. Really, 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 really happy for you. And thanks, Steve, for that TVIX chart. Oh my gosh. Be interesting, Steve, to see whether or not was that his plan to trail it, or did he have a plan to begin with? Can't believe the amount of, wow, amount of money. Okay. Hey, it looks like Steve went long today. Fantastic. Let's see. TDOC. All right, I just peeked over here. Steve bought TDOC at 165.27. All right. Good luck, Steve. So we got Steve Burns back on the board. It's been a while since Steve's had a trade, so that might be a good sign. Burbs. There we go. There we go. So Steve bought that strong breakout of these previous highs here when the close above. Oh, the close over yesterday's high. Okay. Bing He says, Greg, I think buying on close in this current market seems risky now as things change fast day by day. Yeah. Well, in this little snippet of time, I agree, but it's hard to have all sorts of different rules at all sorts of different markets, especially with entries. But I stand by, at the end of the day, those are the most valid prices. I really do. But I understand for sure. I think the way to combat that is what I've been talking about with reducing your position size. Jackson says, how's America during this time? Are most areas in major cities in lockdown? There's a lot of them in California, in New York. I saw some other headlines. Zach just said, my state of Ohio went on full lockdown effective at 23:49 this evening. Yeah. Could be nationwide. I don't know. I guess as long as I can get out and go for a hike, I'll be okay. Boy, there are a lot of people out hiking. Lots of people, families. I mean, it's like Sound of Music up here with just packs of families that I've never seen before for years. I did go to the grocery store yesterday. I wore some gloves, stayed away from everybody. Yeah, interesting, strange times. So Listen, if you have any other questions, please let me know. I do want to leave you off with two things. One, just try to go out and do something nice for somebody today, even if it's just, with social distancing, giving them a call, checking on them, how you doing? They really might appreciate it. And, people are stressed and they're out of their element, and somebody calling just to check on them with a friendly voice would probably be nice, right? Give somebody a compliment, just a little something that now more than ever. Also, if you don't mind, just another reminder, but on the way out of here, if you could hit the thumbs up button, I would really appreciate that as well. Kamal says, I am in lockdown except for grocery, pharmacy, and bank. GPB. Yeah. Can you go for a walk, Kamal? Oh, Kamal, urban centers. It's difficult to go out of the house for a hike, I would imagine. But are you allowed to go out and walk around if you wanted to? Jackson says, my indicators have adapted to slightly looking at general headlines. Some algos actually won't be switched until positive news is back in town on COVID. Never thought I'd say that, being a mechanical trader. Well, different times, right? Different times, adaptive times, but it makes sense. It definitely makes sense. So Apple's down a little after hours. Disney's up $1. MasterCard's up 70 cents. Qs are down a little bit. SPY's down 62 cents. All right. Well, I think that's it. Have a good day, everybody. Be safe. Like I said, give somebody that might be lonely a call. Just check in on them. Make sure, you let you know you're thinking about them. Right. Kamal says, yeah, we have been walking around the neighborhood. All kinds of people are at home. I live in a suburban sprawl. All sorts of people are out. Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, good. Well, thanks for coming today, everybody. I do appreciate it. Always nice to see you here. Be safe. Wash your hands. Stay away from people. But call people and say hello. Check on them, right? And we'll see what happens with if they get this stimulus bill passed, and more importantly, which I think they will eventually, but more importantly, how the market reacts to it, right? So. Okay, Miko25, I will speak to you in a few hours. I'm looking forward to that. So, all right, that's it for today. Thanks again. Take care. See you tomorrow during last hour of the trading day. Bye-bye. U.S. government required disclaimer. Stock, options, futures, and Forex trading is not appropriate for everyone. While there is a potential for large rewards, there is also a substantial risk of loss associated with trading. The material in this video or live broadcast is not geared towards any particular individual or to any particular financial situation and is not intended to meet the particular investment objectives of any viewer. This video or live broadcast, like all instructional materials produced by Gossett Trading and Mentoring LLC, is created and published for informational and educational purposes only. Any and all information contained in, implied, or referenced by this video or live broadcast is not to be construed as investment advice, and no representation is made that any individual or entity involved in production of this video or live broadcast is an investment or financial advisor or is registered or authorized to give any financial advice. We are publishers and educators only. Therefore, the various producers of this video or live broadcast will not accept liability for any loss or damage of any kind which may arise either directly or indirectly out of the use of any of this material, including any loss of profit. No representation is made that any account or investment will or is likely to achieve the profit or losses demonstrated. We recommend consultation with a licensed and qualified professional before making any investment decision. This video or live broadcast is not to be construed as an offer to buy or sell any security, financial instrument, or financial product of any kind. Notice is hereby given that any individual or entity involved in production of this video or live broadcast or their clients may have an interest in any security, financial instrument, or financial product mentioned or referenced. Any simulated or hypothetical performance result depicted does not represent actual trading and therefore may under or overcompensate for the impact of various market factors such as lack of liquidity. Thank you.